It's good to be back. In fact, I wanted to have a two-part series specifically focused on biases. The first part, I want to spend a little time today on what I call biases that hold salespeople back. And possibly in the next one, we will talk about biases that buyers or customers showcase. There are three biases that we will cover today. The first bias that holds salespeople back is what I call as the conformity bias. The conformity bias shows up by salespeople wanting to be who they are, but not changing to be along, if not ahead of the change. The way to beat the conformity bias is to build a growth mindset, a learning mindset, making learning as a daily habit, where you spend about 60 to 90 minutes learning something new, which could be either new knowledge, new skills, or specifically some behaviors as well. The second bias that holds salespeople back is primarily around optimism bias. An optimism bias shows up in a lot when it comes to customer engagement, predominantly around opportunity management, showing up more as hope casting rather than forecasting. That inherent optimism to believe whatever is being spoken by the customer, the inherent optimism to believe everything will work well for you, the inherent optimism to believe that everything will fructify into revenue is something that you will have to overcome through what I call black hat thinking. So when you look to risks, when you avoid risks, that is when you're able to consciously beat the optimism bias. The third bias that holds salespeople back is what I call the planning bias. And this comes about where a lot of salespeople are living and managing the present, not necessarily planning and ensuring that you're able to secure the future. This shows up in a number of different ways. The first way it shows up is primarily an account plan that is only focused on the fiscal. It is not a roadmap that is signed off with the customer. The second thing that shows up is predominantly a lack of planning on the calendar, where it is mostly living for the week rather than focusing for the next couple of quarters. So, when you think about salespeople wanting to move from good to great to world class, what is required at a very foundational level is your ability to beat these three biases. Getting over the conformity bias, getting over the optimism bias, and overcoming the planning bias. I'm confident now that I've raised your awareness to the biases that hold good people back. You are now able to utilize this increased awareness, exercise better choices, take the necessary actions, build better habits, and that will guarantee you greater results. All the very best to all of you.